court order prevents us from showing the prisoner's face. He's in handcuffs, lying across the back seat. Watch closely. A police officer opens the rear door and threatens to taser the man if he doesn't cooperate.
We should bug you that rat. I'm sorry? We should bug you that rat. I honestly don't know his name, man. We should bug you that rat. I honestly don't know him. I swear to God in my life. Where'd you go? I swear to God he came to me. They asked us to help him to move another truck. I swear to God, man. I don't know those two guys. I just know Bobby from Mimico, that's it. Okay.
Watch again. The taser is placed right up against the prisoner's neck. And there's more. A second prisoner sits in the back of a second patrol car. He's in handcuffs too. This time, the same officer threatens to taser the man's genitals if he doesn't cooperate.
I swear to God, I don't know. I'm not lying. I don't know. You lied to me? Bring it back to the station. Deal? I'll tell you, I don't know.
This video was released to CTV News today. It was an exhibit at a trial of Toronto Police Constable Christopher Humenick. The 37-year-old officer pleaded guilty to one count of threatening bodily harm. The video was captured the day it happened, May 24th, 2010. Police were investigating a break-in at some tractor trailers in Etobicoke. The court heard that neither victim was actually tasered. Toronto Police Chief Bill Blair is out of the country. A spokesperson for his office who has viewed this video calls the officer's actions disgraceful. That officer has been suspended with pay. He will be sentenced in court on June the 14th. John Musselman.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Thursday, February 10th, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome everyone to Global Government News. I usually like to plug my website in the beginning, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. This is my website right here. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of my subscribers and all the people who, rate the videos or leave comments. But most importantly, those that have been donating over the recent months. I truly appreciate it. I know it's tough right now in this economy and that, so it truly means a lot to me, so I appreciate it very much. So we have a lot of news today to get covered here, and we're going to start off with none other than the Egyptian President Mubarak basically stepping down. That's headline news all over the world right now. CIA's basically said that he's most likely to step down. It says renewed pressure on Mubarak to quit as talks fail. And this is actually from the 7th. It says Egyptian President Mubarak came under fresh pressure on Monday to step down. His opponents said concessions made in his landmark talks were not enough to halt a revolt against the 30-year rule. So here we go. Egypt's President Mubarak may step down as army meets. It says Mubarak may announce today whether he will step down as the army discusses measures to, quote, safeguard the interests of the country. After more than 2 weeks of protests demanding his ouster, Mubarak left Egypt, presidential sources said. And this is the 10th. Presidential sources says Egypt's 3-decade ruler, Hosni Mubarak, has left the country, noting an address he is scheduled to deliver in a few hours is taped. And says the reports by presidential sources came on Thursday on the heels of remarks by Hassan Badrawi, the General Secretary of Egypt's ruling Democratic Party, who said Mubarak will, quote, probably address the nation this evening. So they said that about a week ago that he was going to address the nation, saying that he was no longer going to run. I guess now the big breaking news is that he's going to address the nation of Egypt and tell them that he's going to step down and hand it over to the vice president. But this story, I guess, is, here we go, Mubarak health stay in Germany in doubt. And this was from the 7th because he had left, I think, the day before that, Mubarak, maybe even a couple days before that. He was reported to be in Germany for health reasons. In other words, he fled the country. German foreign, isn't it funny how this stuff just happens and then they just give these lame cover stories? He's always getting a health checkup in Germany. No, they evacuated him, and this was already in the works days ago, and we, the plebs, the slaves, are just, getting the little news bites now about, oh, see, he's going to step down, when it was really all, basically being planned out, and steps were already being taken for Mubarak to be stepping down probably a week ago. German Foreign Ministry Guido Westerwelle has declined to comment on a report that embattled Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak could come to Germany for an extended health checkup. So here we go. Cables Israel favored Egypt's Vice President Suleiman and this is from the 8th of February. Newly leaked U.S. diplomatic cables suggest that Egypt's Vice President Omar Suleiman was long seen by Israel as the preferred candidate to succeed Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak. And then we have here, Omar Suleiman warns of a coup as tensions rise between Egyptian demonstrators and the army. Protesters occupy new territory near the Egyptian parliament building, sparking a temporary confrontation with troops. And the Vice President Suleiman warns of tougher measures to prevent a possible coup. And then I remember we were talking about this. I was proposing those possibilities just based on reports that have been going out there in the past week or two about who would replace Mubarak, and it would basically be a military coup, or it would be al-Baradi. Al-Baradi said that he wasn't going to run for any kind of elections, and he stepped down, which opened the door for a Muslim Brotherhood candidate who we'll get into in the next minute or two, and then the vice president, and then some kind of military general. So those are or the Egyptians' options as of right now. Egypt's new leader, Omar Suleiman, says Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak is rumored to be stepping down, leaving Omar Suleiman to lead the country. But who is Omar Suleiman? And we'll check. Oh, so here we go. Here. This is what we need to know. As the head of Egypt's military and then civilian intelligence services, Suleiman worked closely with officials in the United States. Link says he is a key ally of the United States national security apparatus, in other words, the NSA, CIA, the Department of Defense, the CIA, and everything in between. So all those alphabet soup agencies. So this guy is kind of like al-Baradi. He was backed by, Baradi was getting backing by the CFR, saying that calling for him months ago to take this new post. But Israel supports Suleiman, and that's probably who will take over. But then we're going to go to this individual, Muslim Brotherhood new leader, Dr. Mohammed Badi from Egypt. And it says here he's the 8th leader of the Muslim Brotherhood group, successor to Mohammed Akif, the previous leader of the group. And you can go through here. All the links will be posted in the video's description, like always, so you can go down there and check them out. But basically, some of his achievements: he was named as one of the 100 greatest Arab scientists in the world in '99. Current work: Professor, Department of Pathology, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Beni Suef, and he has all kinds of academic achievements in veterinary medicine. And yeah, you can go down there and check it out. But he's a legitimate person, so we'll see how he's presented in the media when it comes down to it. Okay, so here we have Army stages coup d'etat in Egypt. This is from the 10th. Egyptian opposition Muslim Brotherhood says the country's army has staged a military coup amid reports of President Mubarak step down from power. It says a senior member of the Muslim Brotherhood, Egypt's biggest opposition group, said he feared that the Egyptian military was staging a coup. Quote, "It looks like a military coup. I feel worry and anxiety," as Sam Arian told Reuters. The problem is not with the president, it is with the regime. His remarks come as the Muslim Brotherhood cited presidential sources as saying that Mubarak has left Egypt. And this is on the 17th day of the protests. Egypt army secretly tortures protesters. Then we have Egyptians chant for civilian government, not a military dictatorship. Israel holds drill amid Egypt protests. So Israel has held a rapid response drill to gauge abilities of its armed forces as the Israeli ruling class is afraid of the outcome of the Egyptian revolution effects. Tel Aviv says Israeli commander urges readiness for war. Israeli army chief has urged Tel Aviv to make preparations for an all-out war over the recent developments across the Middle East. A report says Israel plans to wall off Egypt, so it must be part of the plans. Israel is set up to put an electronic security barrier on the border with Egypt as the anti-Tel Aviv sentiment is on the rise in a North African nation. And it says here, U.S. vows commitment to Israel's security. And then we'll go to this. Don't let Israel meddle in Egypt. Turkish Prime Minister recap, Erdogan has asked the U.S. to prevent Israel from meddling in the popular revolution in Egypt. Israel openly opposes democracy in Middle East, says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Second in command has strictly rejected the establishment of democracy in Egypt, alleging it could have dire consequences. It says here, he asserted, quote, "We know that recently in the Middle East, democratic elections have caused the accession to power of radicals like Hamas in the Gaza Strip and Hezbollah in Lebanon." And some people think that Hamas was created by them, Israel's, and basically their government. So don't know that for a fact, but either way, Israel destroying Palestinian water infrastructure. And I'm just noting that because basically it was the U.S. and them that helped create Al Qaeda, right? al-Qaeda, Israel destroying Palestinian water infrastructure amid the increasing drought in the Palestinian territories. Israel has been targeting the Palestinian water infrastructure, which has worsened the already existing water crisis. Then we have Gaza situation deteriorating. It says the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees has warned that the years of Israeli blockade on the Gaza Strip has seriously deteriorated the humanitarian crisis in the coastal sliver. Tunisia calls up reserve troops amid unrest. And it says here, Tunisia's Defense Ministry called up recently retired troops Monday to the country, which has struggled to contain unrest that has persisted even after the ouster of the North African country dictatorial regime, who ran off with all the gold. U.S. spy drone crashes in Yemen. A suspected U.S. spy unmanned aerial vehicle has crashed into the town of Loder in the southern region of Yemen. Then we move on here. Afghan NATO forces brace for a spring offensive against Taliban, and they're going to be there till 2014 at least. U.S. Ups pressure on Pakistan over detained American, and his wife was basically, she tried to commit suicide, but then I had someone, a listener, a viewer, put on the comment board that she was murdered, and that's something that I didn't even think about. But that's definitely a possibility to shut her up. So this is just a bad deal all around, and they're trying to hold that individual. But they can't really try him because he has diplomatic immunity. Kabul confirms U.S. bases in Afghanistan. Afghan President Karzai has confirmed U.S. plans to set up permanent bases, just like Iraq, in his country, enabling his troops to stay in Afghanistan beyond the 2014 deadline. U.S. airstrikes kills Afghan child. A U.S. airstrike has killed an Afghan child in Nad Ali district in the southern province of Helmand, a NATO statement says. Then still in Afghanistan, NATO forces brace for a spring offensive, same thing. Pakistani militants kill 4 suspected U.S. spies. Pro-Taliban militants have recently killed 4 people in northwestern Pakistan on alleged charges of spying for the government, and the U.S. Army report says. And so here we go again with the Patriot Act renewal. House poised to extend Patriot Act and your rights and freedom. The U.S. House of Representatives is expected to push through a vote on Tuesday, basically to reauthorize the most contested provisions of the Patriot Act until December, a 9-month extension of the broad surveillance law instead of the 2-year extension supported by the White House. And then we have this. U.S. intel chief says terror still top threat to the U.S. So got to start that fear-mongering in order to legitimize the Patriot Act, right? The nation's head intelligence official says terrorism is the top national security threat facing the U.S. Homeland Commissars. And it says here, in job number 1 for the intelligence community complex. So, and I'm not even going to go into this because it's all straight propaganda, raw propaganda. You can go check it out. And it says terror threat most heightened since 9/11, when the government carried out terrorist attacks against its own people. The threat of terrorism is at its most heightened state since the 9/11 attacks nearly a decade ago. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano. In that video, accidentally was running, and she sounds like a dang man. No offense, but she does. Here we go. Should spies spend more time on Twitter? Let's read this. And it says, with unrest and chaos apparently having taken Egypt's rulers in western states by surprise, governments and spies are increasingly looking to social media like Twitter to detect political threats in advance. Oh, is that right? Well, that's why they were created by the intelligence agencies and defense agencies such as DARPA to collect intelligence. Facebook and Google size up takeover of Twitter. Okay, well, that makes sense, right? People voluntarily just let it, giving the intelligence agencies all their activity, right? Where I'm going to take a dump, and then I'm going to head to the mall. And it says here, freed young leader energizes Egyptian protest. And so here you go. It says here, a young Google executive who helped ignite the Egypt's uprising energized a cheering crowd of hundreds of thousands Tuesday with his first appearance. So we have this. U.S. to reduce surveillance restrictions. The House in the United States has voted down a measure to extend provisions of the Patriot Act, a major counterterrorism law in the country. Then we have this. What is a presidential alert? Emergency alert system. Please stand by. And says the FCC has approved plans to hold the first test of a presidential alert or broadcast warning that might be issued in the event of a serious natural, man-made, false flag, government-sponsored threat, right? Where you could have your Fuhrer, Barry Soetoro, speaking directly to you on your own TV. This is GGN.